Welcome back to Les Schwab Tire Center's Outdoor GPS. Here's Fisherman's Marine and Outdoors Deal of the Week.
Well, this Deal of the Week falls in perfect with the seminar that Del Stevens is going to be putting on here in a short period of time. We'll also make sure that you're well aware of when, why, and the location, all that. But here's your Deal of the Week from Fisherman's Marine. And Del, I'm assuming that you've seen these before.
Oh, yeah.
$3 off all the Daiwa vertical jigs. I didn't even know Daiwa made vertical jigs.
Actually, Daiwa's been making vertical jigs for quite a while.
Really?
Yeah. When we first started getting back into tuna fishing, Shimano brought out the butterfly jig.
Yeah.
But Daiwa had their leaf jig at the same time.
Gotcha.
And they were money.
Now, you spend a lot of time fishing Daiwa. That's your, well, I can see it's got it written on his shirt here. So you're fishing all Daiwa reels, gear that you have available to you, of course. Do you start out, I mean, so the folks, of course, that go to your seminar, they're going to learn this. Small reels up to big, massive reels for bluefin, all in the Daiwa line?
Yeah. The smaller reels, I use size 40s for trolling, which doesn't look very big, but holds plenty of line.
Sure.
The drag's what's important,
right?
You know, on most of these things. The jig reels, those are pretty small and compact. The rods are parabolic, and there's a number of different style jigs now. We have slow pitch, fast pitch, high pitch.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So that's one thing at the seminar is I will cover what's the difference between a yo-yo jig and a slow pitch jig and high pitch jig, and because you have the long slender jigs and it can be confusing if you really don't know, and I'll just simplify all that.
Gotcha. So. It's definitely an interesting technique. I've had a chance to do some jigging out there for tuna. The cadence is extremely important. There is an absolute technique to it. There'll be one dude that knows what he's doing, and he will literally outfish the whole boat when everybody else looks like they're doing the same thing, but you ain't. And those are all things that you need to know if you're going to be successful. These are long runs. It's a commitment to get to where you're going. You want to be successful. That takes the knowledge, right? Okay, so this is a question that I've always wanted to ask you. What's your favorite way, or is there a favorite way that you like to go after albacore tuna in particular?
Well, probably my favorite is working the iron.
Okay.
It's, you know, I enjoy the challenge of finding them, and traditionally people troll to find them. I like to try to pick a spot and go to it and see if I can find them and then get them to go.
Gotcha.
And we use iron to get them to go.
How do you find, I mean, you're talking about the ocean. Our coast is incredible. Some of the structure that's out there, the diversity that's out there, you might look at it and go, oh, it's just a big flat piece. It ain't. Everything that's underneath our coast is extremely impressive. It goes from shallow water to very deep water in a short period of time. Electronics. There's a huge debate out there on different types of electronics for different fisheries. Fishing in the saltwater, in particular chasing tuna. Do you, in your seminars, focus on that? You know, try to give folks an idea of where they, or what they need to have on their boats to be successful?
I do. I cover a lot of that and what they need for sonar as well as chart plotter. But to simplify that answer a little bit, think of a steelhead stream with a tail out where you're going to fish a lot.
Sure.
The tail out holds fish.
Right.
You know that, okay? Well, the ocean's the same way. You've got contours, canyons, seamounts out there, and those currents trap bait fish in some of those areas. So the ocean is the same way as a steelhead stream, and the fact that there's certain places that you're consistently going to find fish.
Okay, so there are spots that you can go back to your locations, your marks on your chart plotter. Tuna dudes, they are very secretive with their chart plotters. Don't ask me how I know. I tried to take a picture of somebody's, and boy, did my phone get knocked out of my hand in a hurry. Thank God it didn't go into the ocean, because I would have been deserved, apparently. So there is some consistencies out there. Okay, so fair enough. So those are all things that you'll learn. They're at that seminar. There's a number of, it's just another fishery, right? Would you say once you have the right gear, boat in particular, knowledge to get out there, is it a more difficult fishery than chasing salmon or steelhead or something like that? Is there any similarities at all?
No, springer fishing is probably tougher than tuna fishing.
Okay.
You know, just because of how sensitive they are with their nose. And, you know, but the big thing with tuna is finding them. 90% of catching tuna is finding them.
Gotcha.
So what you really want to do is you want to get good at finding them.
Sure.
And that's the one thing that there's a number of, you know, traditional methods, electronics, you know, and, you know, as well as report.
Sure.
So
buddying up with others, keeping yourself safe, and sharing information.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, hugely important.
Very.
Now, last question I have for Dale, because we got to wrap this up. Do you take one of those big 6-foot bags of popcorn out and throw that out for tuna?
No, actually, but I do talk about that when I'm talking about chumming. And I had a buddy that did that, and I said, what are you doing with this popcorn? And he goes, well, I throw that out there, and he goes, the tuna don't come up, and it's the birds that are eating them. The tuna come up to see what the birds are doing.
That's so cool. The first time I saw that when I went out tuna fishing, I'm like, what? It was in the middle of these folks' boat. It was just this giant thing of popcorn. I'm like, what in the world? And they said the same thing. It makes perfect sense, but if you don't have that knowledge going into it, it's literally you're going to look at it and go, what? Is this? It's like fishing a bead for the first time. What? What are you doing? Anyway. Check out that seminar. We've shown you the information. If you want to get good at it, you want to get into it for the first time, go see Del over at the Delta Park location of Fisherman's Marine, and you're going to have a chance to learn from the pros. Del, it's good to see you, sir.
Likewise.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Justin Clare, Steve Bell from Cascade Junior High Fishing Club. We're going to find out how it really has helped out Justin maybe have more fun, but how other kids can get involved either there at Cascade Junior High, or maybe you can start something up just like it at your school. We'll be right back.
Outdoor GPS is brought to you by Yakima Bait, steeped in tradition, innovation, and fishing success. And by Procure Bait Sense, ruthlessly effective.